Hi, so in this video I just want to talk to you about something related to just aspects of things I've noticed about non-human intelligence over the last 2 days. I mean, it's not really anything, I mean, there are a couple of things that are happening which are a bit more sort of obvious, and what things that I'm sort of mulling over, like just pondering their implications, I guess, at the moment. But one of the things that I really noticed very plainly, just I mean, over the last couple of days, especially last night, and this is not really that new, because I've said before, like, these beings, they are not in this realm. They're on like a different, they're like almost like in a plane or a strata that's adjacent, or just like the next level up from us, or however you want to look at it. Like, they're not they're not from this plane of reality, I don't believe, at the very least. Or or the alternative, I guess, to that, I think, would be that they were using like a wormhole or something like that to again astral project, maybe from somewhere else, or astral travel from elsewhere. But and that might also still be true, okay? But I still think that they are basically on a strata that's adjacent to us, because I've seen them in various different ways. I've seen them, I've had visions of them in various different context, like different, like, and they tend to be like, again, everything seems to be pointing towards them being here but not visible. And like, right, so here next to us, or in even the same room as you, and you wouldn't even know, okay? And this is true, okay? It's not something that, this is not conjecture or anything. It's fact. Like, these beings can be literally in the same room and you would not know their presence. And I've seen them, like earlier on, for instance, I closed my eyes and I could see the silhouette of one of these beings in my mind's eye. I couldn't see it clearly, but I could see the big head, I could see the clothing, I knew it was there. And this was like probably early evening. It wasn't even nighttime, it was quite early in the evening. And I closed my eyes and I could see its silhouette, and I was like, oh gosh, but again, nothing new as well. But at the same time, the reason why I mention this is because of visions I've had of these beings being, forgive me, of these beings being, of these beings being, sorry, my voice is really, really croaky. But of the visions I've had of these beings being, like I said, in the same room as us, but we're not able to detect them being there. Visions I've had from like a post-death state of seeing, so to speak, state where I'm looking down, basically, like into this room that I'm in now, and just generally, and seeing lots of these beings there, but and the realization that they were there all along, but I didn't know it, okay? And like, I didn't realize how sort of, how they were literally like all everywhere, okay? And again, this may sound like quite sort of intense and scary. I'm not scared of these beings, because I know that God is real, and I know that we're not trapped. I know that we chose to have this experience. I think the phenomenon is, like I've said, like a friction, and other people have said as well. It's like a friction, in this reality. This is a friction. There are friction in this plane, in this world. They are mischief makers, and certainly, they are, they cause a lot of trauma to people, Um, but I think that they are, their role in creation, really is as like a friction, to get us to go more towards God, okay, or more towards truth, really, in the end, or at least give us the option to do that, okay. I think that's why a lot of people who encounter these entities end up going on quite a big spiritual journey, I think, or pushed in that direction, because it acts as a catalyst, to sort of dig deeper, to search beyond, to sort of, because again, these beings, I mean, they can cause a lot of a lot of disruption, ontological shock, a lot of issues, a lot of trauma to people. That's how they sort of latch on to people a lot. Through trauma bonding with us, but also through technology and other means as well. I think one of the benefits, so to speak, for some experiences seems to be that having contact with these entities pushes them more towards, again, like pushes them along spiritually, okay. But that's not to say that, like, the bottom line is, what these beings do though is very abusive towards people, I think, personally. People talk about abductions and things like that. I don't, but I believe abductions happen in a liminal space. I'm not convinced. Again, if they happen physically, that's, okay, fine. My experience with these beings has been that they're not physical beings, okay. And for example, my dreams have been so vivid recently. Like, I've had really vivid dreams. I've had dreams that have been, very clearly, like, just as if I'm literally I'm astral, sort of astral traveling or astral project, again, things happening that are very real, like, again, pertain to my life as it is now, but in a dream setting, okay, I guess is how I could best put this. And so, again, my dreams have definitely changed. I've noticed a couple of people, or at least one person, saying that, and I think I'd be interested to know if other people are experiencing that more as well. But that's certainly my experience at the moment. Like, over the past few days, every day I've woken up and I thought, oh gosh, wow, that was like really, like, okay. I felt like I was with people, we were having, like, again, very real sort of experience. And I felt like there were themes that are very much tied to my current, like, situation here, but yet on another plane, another dimension, but in this dream that I had just now, I saw, I had this really bizarre vision, and I knew it was the phenomenon because I could feel them in my dream. Okay, I could feel them coming into my dream. Okay, I could feel them coming in, and I felt them around me this tonight. Every night, pretty much, I have an experience with these beings. Okay, every night I have pretty much every night I have some sort of experience with them where I can feel them around, or I have a vision of them, or they try and communicate in some way, like there's that have some sort of contact. Okay, and so they, in my dream, I had I could feel their presence. It was really odd. I could feel their presence, and I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. I'm not scared of these beings, but I just thought, oh goodness me, here we go. And I can't get a moment's peace, and because you can feel I can feel their energy. I know when they're around, like, like, I start to get this tummy flip, and I just know that they're, like, around me, in a, how can I say it, it's interesting because, and I don't know, part of me doesn't know whether there are different beings that have different sort of, okay, that's not true. I know that these beings, can sort of, their presence can elicit different types of sensation within, or just none at all. I mean, but certainly and I don't know why this is, but there are some occasions where when they come through, they emit an energy that is very powerful, and that basically makes me, again, it just makes my stomach flip out of fear, like fight or flight response sort of kicks in, I think, or something. And I just I instinctively want to get up and turn on the light, or I just want to, walk away from that, come out of the room, get up and do something, because I know that something is around me that is not, that's making me, again, I'm not actually afraid of these beings, but I'm just saying, like, that's a sort of, it's a very primal instinctive response. And so they came in, it was really weird. I felt like I was in a bedroom in this other plane, or in this dream, and I could feel these beings encroaching upon me. I just had that feeling again. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And so and no, I'm joking. But I had this really weird, like, vision. They gave me a vision, and on a wall, on a white wall, I could see, and I don't know how to describe this to you. It's, I don't know if you ever had, when you were kid, or like younger, or even, I don't know, it doesn't have to be younger. Those sorts of, how can I say it, like in like a cartoon. So like when people just draw like cartoons, okay, so like years ago, okay, so they would draw like sketch something, and then there's sort of like frame by frame, like they would sort of, you could sort of like flick through pages, and like each page would be a frame, and then it would change, like, I don't know, I think Mickey Mouse was like, that's my, I don't know, they did something similar to when they created Mickey Mouse, and you flick through the pages, and Mickey Mouse sort of like, again, you could watch him sort of like, I don't know, maybe walking down the street or something, by watching like this sort of flicking through the pages. This is me, I'm explaining this very poorly, okay, but again, so it was a bit like that, but it was on the wall, okay. So basically it was a planet, and I believe the planet was Jupiter, okay. When I had the dream, I thought it was Saturn, but coming out of the dream now, or when I came out of the dream, it took me a few moments to, and I think a guide was sort of helping me, or someone was saying like that was Jupiter, not Saturn, because it didn't have, I don't think it had visible rings around it. I think Jupiter does have some, like, I think it does have like very faint rings, or just, but Saturn obviously has very obvious rings. I think it was Jupiter, okay? Regardless, again, I couldn't, in the dream, like I said, I wish I could remember clearly whether or not that was the case. Like I said, in the dream, I felt like I was looking at Saturn, but that could be for many reasons. And believe me, I know what Saturn looks like, and I know the difference between the two, but but again, never mind. But I saw this planet basically sort of flickering, like, so again, imagine like sort of flicking through those pages really quickly and seeing that moving cartoon, okay? So imagine that, but with like the planet, so Jupiter or Saturn, and basically that sort of like moving across the wall, okay? So this planet was like sort of like moving, and sort of almost like, and it was really interesting. And I don't really know, I'm not going to say much more than that, because I came out of the dream very quickly after that happened. But it was a very interesting vision. I've never seen anything like that before in a vision. But I know it was given by these beings. I know it was. So I don't know what it means. I don't know exactly what, I'm going to leave it up to interpretation. I'm going to leave it to see, if anything comes up, okay, in the coming, if anything comes up, in the next few hours or whatever. It could happen anytime. And as I'm speaking, I'm seeing like a finger pointing to look up. And it had a light blue colour under it. And what that means and so the light blue represents communication. The light blue represents communication, okay? It represents communication, in because this chakra here, the throat, is light blue in color. You know, that's the sort of color that you associate with this chakra, okay, which represents communication. So they're showing me this finger, showing me very quickly a finger pointing upwards and blue, light blue underneath, and they're telling people to look up. Okay, look up. I don't know what is happening with planets at the moment, okay? I don't know if they're like, I don't know if this is, I don't know, maybe perhaps I need to look up, you know, what's happening right now in the sky, and see, you know, where Jupiter is, and, you know, if there's any conjunctions or anything like that, or anything particularly special happening at the moment. But they're saying something about look up, and they're trying to get people to look up. So that's interesting. That's interesting. Look up. Look up. Ah, okay. You know, I mean, okay, so look, so this is like thinking now again about what this could be. So look up, okay? Look up, look up, look up. I think now, thinking again, I think this kind of goes back a little bit to, and again, I'm going to leave this, I'm also going to leave this open-ended. After I stop this video, I'm going to look up a couple of things. But I'm going to leave this open-ended, but I'm also going to put in here that I think they are wanting people to look beyond the planet. Again, this is a message that has come through many, to be honest with you, thinking about this now, I'm not sure that this is coming from like the Greys. I'm not sure this is coming from Greys, but then I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. But one of the things that this could be symbolizing is getting people, because there's a message I've received many times, okay, and about you know, trying to get people to think that, you know, we're one, getting people to see like we're part of a bigger vaster cosmos, that we're, you know, that we're not just on, you know, we're not alone, you know, that we're one with everything in the universe and beyond. And, you know, and to see ourselves as part of like a galactic neighborhood, you know, and you know, and you know, again, to see ourselves beyond this planet, okay, to see that we're part of something vaster and there's no separation. And I feel like this is, you know, maybe another, and maybe that's what it really represents, perhaps, you know, is telling people to look up. So as in, you know, to see yourselves, to be curious again, not curious again. I mean, obviously people are curious about these things, but to again look beyond, you know, to maybe to sort of see ourselves beyond, you know, the planet, sort of look at ourselves as, you know, as cosmic, you know, in the sort of cosmic scheme of things, like look beyond, be curious about, you know, what's beyond our planet, in the sense of, or just seeing that we are, you know, again, an invitation to see beyond, you know, the sort of the confines of planet Earth, and see ourselves more as, you know, part of a greater cosmos and the universe and beyond, like I said, oneness. Again, they told people to look up. Like I said, I saw a finger pointing up, and blue, like blue. So, and I heard them say it, you know, and I just gotta have a look and see if Jupiter, if anything's happening in that sense at the moment. There was something else that came through. This is turning into some, don't worry, you know, I don't imagine any was, you know, this is me sort of ad-libbing a bit here. Well, you know, I very much sort of in the moment right now with this, but I did have a vision whilst also thinking about this planet that I saw, this sort of sketch of a planet that I saw moving across the wall. And I you know, I had something else come through afterwards, and I'm just trying to remember and what it was, but it felt like something quite significant, to be honest with you. It felt almost like, yeah, it felt like something quite significant. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't really want to talk much more about this, but I'll leave it there for now, okay? But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there because I've got some things to think about as well. So yeah, so thanks for watching this video and take care.